Pittsburgh Smash proudly presents the 2025 election debates, live from Bar Lucci in Kent, Ohio.
Hello, welcome to the first Pittsburgh election debate, featuring our two candidates tonight, PGH Carroll and Sp1nda. I'm Gumbo. I will be the moderator for tonight. I will also be responsible for asking the questions, as well as fact-checking all of the data that the candidates say tonight. We'll be starting our debate off tonight with you, Carroll. First off, on the topic of stages, your rule set caters to a more conservative approach in that you are going back to an older school rule set where you have many stages available, as well as a random stage for the first one. How do you feel that your rule set will affect the player base?
All right, thank you. First of all, what I want to say is we need to get back to what I consider the best time that Melee's ever had, which was that MLG era time. So many stages, so much fun. The real estate that we're losing every day to people like my opponent's agenda, where we need to get rid of FD and we need to get rid of Fountain of Dreams and we need to freeze this and freeze that. It's garbage. My opponent wants to play on Battlefield only pretty soon here. They start with taking a little, and then we all find ourselves on Battlefield only getting down-thread by Sheik forever. So this really is just about, coming back and having fun again. Remember having fun at tournaments? Most of you don't, and I feel bad for you.
That was a bold take. Sp1nda, how do you respond in regards to your stage set?
So I think Carroll's a little bit misled here. I'm not advocating for a Battlefield-only rule set where that's all we do. There's variety in this game. I want Yoshi's and Dreamland and Stadium. Those are parts of our history that we have proven are fair and can make the game a little bit interesting. We can shake it up. And let's just not forget, the reason he's picking this rule set is because the last time he won something, it had to be on random stages.
Wrong.
Continuing on stages, Laurel, your rule set has stage hazards off for many of the stages then. How do you feel that your stage hazards will affect the player base at the election?
So my stance on stage hazards, if you're in a fight with someone, if you're in like an MMA fight, nobody's throwing banana peels into the ring to get an advantage. That's the equivalency here. If we're playing on a stage like Rainbow Cruise or Pokey Floats, or even just having the Shy Guys on Yoshi's, let's just remember for a second that in Duck versus a Bait, there was a Shy Guy right in the way of a charge shot that should have won him the game. And as much as I love a Bait, God love Pittsburgh, he didn't deserve that one. It was just a random element in the game that took away a worthy win, and we need to keep this competitive environment as equal as we possibly can to give everyone an opportunity to prove themselves in this way.
This just in, Sp1nda's claim regarding the set of Duck versus a Bait was just fact-checked by true Melee Stats patriots. It was not a Bait who beat Duck in that set, it was actually S2J who was able to defeat Duck in that set thanks to the help of a Shy Guy. Carroll, now that we've clarified that fact, how do you feel in regards to your rule set in regards to stage hazards?
I'll respond to that. Now, part of this game, and what we have to realize here, is that we're playing Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube, all right? If there was the most objective way to compete against each other, we'd fight or play chess or something else. But again, we have all these characters and all these stages, and we really just, the beauty of the game, and I do believe that there's a balance in these things, and we got to realize that in a PvP kind of game, me versus you, it is okay to have a little bit of PvE. We're both playing the same terrain. We're both playing under the same hazards. And I think that that is a testament of skill to be able to navigate these things. So I do dispel that it's just chaos all the time. We have the same hand here. Again, things that you consider a hazard, like Randall, is on a fixed timer It takes 2 seconds to do the math. He's over here, he's over here. He's coming out, he's going in. Not a big deal. Shouldn't be that hard to figure out. And then you get rid of one hazard today, and then the next is gone, and then we start considering Blast Zone's a hazard. Yoshi's has a hazard because it's too small, or Dreamland's too big. And it'll never end. So we need to put a stop to it now.
In addition to stage hazards, Carroll, an aspect of your rule set is that you will overturn the wobbling ban and allow wobbling to be legal. How do you feel that will affect the attendees of the election on January 11th?
First of all, this may shock you, but I'm here to give you a little bit of truth behind wobbling. First of all, it was never that OP, all right? An ice climber never won a major. The highest an ice climber ever did at a major was that second at Evo, which everybody forgets is the first time wobbling was re-legalized. So obviously it takes you a little bit of time to get used to it. But that was the highest placing wobbling ice climber of all time, and it was only downhill from there. So what do we do to suppress ice climbers even more? They're already on the downslope. We decide to get rid of their lifeline completely. And that just doesn't fly with me. We don't need to live in a world where it's Fox-only FD. We like a little bit of character variety. And there is some truth to the S2J argument, where the ecosystem is out of whack. We got rid of the ice climbers. Now the Sheiks are running wild, and they're down throw tech chasing everyone to death. Wobbling, in my opinion, was never banned. It just took a new form. So that's where I stand on that. Now, as far as the timer goes, the more you shorten the timer, you're incentivizing longer games, in my opinion. And it really does benefit characters that are really fast. Peaches, sorry, you're going to have to play defensively from the second it says go, because these fast characters are going to go all over. And let me tell you another thing, too. If you think 8 minutes is a long time, that's why you're single.
Well, those were some fiery words from Carroll. Sp1nda, how would you respond in regards to wobbling?
So let me just respond to Carroll's point on wobbling. He seems to forget that he himself would run Arcadians for beginners. And on stream, there was so much wobbling, he started to censor it.
No.
I'm not really sure how he could forget such a thing and how he could change his mind on such a polarizing issue like wobbling, which, honestly, it just skews the entire landscape for everyone who's trying to get into the game. And we have so many opportunities to get into this game now. Why would we stifle the progress we have made in eliminating degenerate tactics and gameplay? Especially think about wobbling on stages like Princess Peach's Castle. It's not just ice climbers who have wobbling. We've got Fox who can infinite you in the corner the whole time. There's people who have no idea the lame ways that you can play on the stages that Carroll is trying to introduce to our game. No one's even seen it because they have been gone for so long.
Outside of gameplay rules, Sp1nda, in your rule set, you prefer to have a double elimination bracket. How do you feel that double elimination format will help the attendees of the event?
In round-robin pools, the O2ers become O12ers sometimes. It is not fun to just get beaten down all day long. It might be more melee, but there's more things to do at a melee tournament than just get beaten over and over again. And we have to think about how much time round-robin takes. It takes so many setups. There is just so many things for a TO to keep track of, and there's tie breaks, and it's unfair because of how counterpicks work in this game when it comes to more obscure matchups. Like, how is if a Jigglypuff player loses to a Fox player in a tie break because they didn't win on Pokemon Stadium, but they won the set, that's not fair. Let's just keep it simple and keep it to a double elimination bracket.
Carroll, in your rule set, you would prefer to have round-robin pools for the players. How do you feel that will affect the player base at the election?
All right, yeah. If I may, let me respond to that. Let's not worry about setups. We got a million setups. We have more setups than you'll ever believe. Setups, non-issue. Secondly, let's think about the 0-2er in this situation, all right? You come to Laurel's tournament, you're going to lose the Polish round 1, and then you're going to lose the Breeze Pisser round 2, and then you paid $30 for that experience. You probably go home, that's your night. Not at my tournament. We're going to do classic round-robin pools that really just bring us all together. A set between two people is a connection that could blossom into who knows what, That's not for me to say, but no, the more people you play, the more experience you get out of it, and it takes about the same amount of time. Don't worry about setups. We got setups, all right? So, yeah, round robin pools is the way to go. It always works out in a good way, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
Now, to switch gears out of the tournament itself, we want to ask some questions regarding the Melee scene in greater detail. One aspect affecting the modern Melee community are third-party controllers, such as the box and other Goom Waves, fobs, those types of things. Carroll, what are your thoughts in regards to third-party controllers?
All right, here's the deal. To play Melee nowadays, my opponent thinks that you need to bring a $400 controller to the tournament. I don't know if you know this, but this is Super Smash Bros. Melee. We play for nickels and dimes and peanuts. No one can afford these controllers. And I'll tell you another thing. There used to be a beautiful thing in Melee where if you played too much of it and you went too hard, it would destroy your hands. And that's how we kept all the Foxes and Falcos that are terrorizing us down. They would have to pick up Sheik or Peach or whoever they wanted, but there was a natural circle of life that happened. But now we have hacks who can play 3,000 sets of ranked on net play, and his hands are just fine, and we got to put an end to it.
Sp1nda, as I understand, you have a much different opinion in regards to controllers. How do you feel about third-party controllers in today's meta?
So Carroll just has such a outdated way of thinking. The circle of life in Melee, that doesn't need to be a thing anymore. We can put any controller into someone's hands and program it in a way where you can play Melee, and we are running out of GameCube controllers. The average price of a GameCube controller, you have to get it from someone who's making it custom. You can't just buy a JP White from GameStop anymore. It's not like that. And we have so many people, even in our local community, who have to use box because they were just born with arthritis. And I think it's beautiful to share this game with as many people as we possibly can. No matter the advantages you may think that they have, they are not living with those advantages. They are here to play this game with us and be a part of the community just like everyone else. We need to keep that door open, or else we are not going to keep growing as a community.
For our next question, we will give an opportunity for the vice presidents of each campaign. We are now joined by Jeffe and Elder to discuss their opinions regarding Nintendo. Jeffe, Nintendo is a controversial topic in the Melee community in the moment, in that they were able to create the game Super Smash Bros. Melee, but their actions have led to a lot of controversy regarding our community. Jeffe, how do you feel about Nintendo and its influence on Melee?
I think my opponent would have you believe that we're in bed with Nintendo or something, and I don't believe that to be the case at all. But if you hate Nintendo so much and you hate their games, why don't you go play Rivals of Aether? Everyone loves that game. I mean, what a hit, guys. Am I right? But no, we're playing Melee, and that game is made by Nintendo. And if you think there's some big bad boogeyman, I mean, VG Bootcamp is right there. And what I think we should be doing is getting back to our roots and playing Melee and not some, liberal hogwash game on the computer where you don't even have to sit next to another human being. And I've been to some of these tournaments, and let me tell you, folks, some of these people very clearly have not played Melee with another person in person, because these people, you ask them a question and it seems like they've never talked to another person before, and that's not the community that I want to live in. And God forbid you find yourself playing against a Sheik main, one of these slippy Sheik mains. When you load into a game, they don't even hold A to switch from Zelda to Sheik, and they say, "What is this character? I picked Sheik." And you have to explain to them that there's two different characters, and it's very clear that this person has not left their house in several weeks to get a job, to play a set of Melee with another person, or to do anything else at all.
Well, that was a boisterous take from Jeffe in regards to Nintendo. Elder, how do you feel about Nintendo's involvement in the larger Melee community?
Nintendo has brought us this beautiful game, and it helped us establish this beautiful community. But nowadays, we have this constant looming fear of cease and desist and all of our favorite tournaments getting shut down, the big house. These beautiful things have brought us all together, and we're just trying to enhance this community. With tools like Slippy being able to bring a whole new age of Melee players, there's now more people nowadays being able to meet up in person. I've never had the opportunity to meet Nethermaster 2 until nowadays. This is a great thing for the community, a great thing for the game, where we just have been keeping this game alive for over 20 years. Melee's a great game. And it was made with 7 months of development time. There's bound to be a few bugs, a few little hitches here and there. And as the community, with our love for the game, we intend to create the perfect vision of this game that all the gamers want to play. The perfect competitive, fun experience that you can get together either online, with your friends, at a big tournament, small tournament, your locals. Our locals are always so packed nowadays with the beautiful enhancements we have to this game from all the connections they've made online with great new friends. This is what we're out to do. This is what our campaign wants to do and accomplish.
We have some questions coming in from the audience now. Jeffe, there are some concerns from our audience about your relationship to Melee, given that you no longer currently compete. How would you respond to these allegations?
Gumball, what a great question. And I just want to say I've done my time as a competitor. I've won my fair share of tournaments, beaten Laurel, my opponent, in several of them as well. I have a perfect record against her. Just want to throw that out there very quickly. And I think the everyman who our base really represents understands that I've done my time as a competitor, and now I run tournaments for the common folk. And these tournaments are great, and everyone loves them. And I don't think my opponent, Sp1nda, has won or run one tournament in her life. She's certainly been a mooch and come to tournaments just for the winnings. And I don't think that's representative of the every man in the Melee community.
Elder, I'm getting reports from our audience that despite your claim to be a newer Melee player, there was in fact a Schonendorf by your name at Carroll Fest 1 all the way back in 2009. How do you respond to this claim?
I really appreciate that question. That's a fantastic question. I'm really glad that you brought it up. And I think with a debate like this, we should have a safe place to be able to talk about certain questions, bring up things. The game is amazing. It's brought up amazing things, amazing memories, all these different things. An amazing community. Oh my goodness, I am so happy to be a part of this community.
For our final question tonight, we'll turn it back to our primary presidential candidates. Sp1nda, the Pittsburgh tournament organizers have devised a plan where absentee ballots will be provided to certain members of the community who cannot attend on the day of the election on January 11th. Sp1nda, how do you feel about the tournament organizers' plan to provide absentee ballots to those players who cannot make it to the event?
I believe with the mail-in votes, it's so good to give everyone who's been a part of this community an opportunity to lead the way in what they want for our scene. There's so many people who love to watch Melee who might not be able to make it to tournaments all the time, and they deserve a voice too. They deserve to see, they deserve to vote, and they deserve to see the Melee scene that they want just as much as the people who are showing up and playing in this tournament.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, hold on. First of all, we are not going to let you and your band of unemployed, net play, noon pinging foxes sway the election. You actually need to come out to the tournament, like always, and make your voice heard. That's not a crazy demand, all right? The tournament is held in a place, in a real place, not fantasy Slippy Land. So you come out to the tournament, you cast your vote, and democracy rings. And then we play on Rainbow Cruise, and it'll be fine. All right. So come out, vote. We're gonna take care of you, and we hope to see you on January 11th.
And that is a wrap of the first debate for the election taking place on January 11th, 2025 in Pittsburgh. Thank you, Carroll, and thank you, Sp1nda, for your participation in this debate tonight. Make sure to register for Pittsburgh Smash Presents, the election on January 11th, 2025. Available online at smash.gg/election. Register today to cast your ballot, and we look forward to seeing you there in person on January 11th, 2025. My car's been having transmission issues. Could either of you give me a ride home?